6 shlokas, many people consider to be what you call interpolation. Somebody, it was not in the original text, somebody introduced that. There are two reasons why it is mentioned, because it doesn't appear to be in line with the stream. There is a thought process going on. This does not appear to be part of that thought process. And secondly, they say the next 5 or 6 shlokas are not very clearly written as the previous shlokas. Do you think the previous shlokas are clearly written? Yes. If you think the previous shlokas are clearly written, you will find that these shlokas are no. If you find that the previous shlokas are not clearly written, I don't know what to do. So the next 6 shlokas, 5-6 shlokas are said to be interpolations. In fact, it is mentioned like that by most of the many Western scholars. Okay. But then, if you look at the old commentators like Gaudapada and Vachaspati Mishra, they have commented upon these shlokas. That means they have accepted this. And Krishnamacharya also taught these shlokas. So we'll go through the 5 or 6 shlokas. Right? Now, the next, I'll just... have you heard the term pratyaya anywhere? Where did you hear that? In the Yoga Sutras. What is pratyaya? Mental activity, yes, chittavritti, right? Chittavritti or mental activity. Pratyayasya parachitta jnanam, bhava pratyayo videha prakritilayanam. Number of places the word pratyaya is used. Pratyaya means a mood, an attitude, or a form of chittavritti, right? Now, the Sāṁkhya Kārikā says, they say there are 50 different pratyayas. They classify the chittavritti. In Patanjali Yoga Sutras, Patanjali put them into 5 chittavrittis: pramana, viparya, vikalpa, nidra, smritayaha. Here he divides them into 50, but basically he says they belong to 4 groups. 4 groups, okay. We'll read one shloka. Yesha pratyaya sargo viparyaya ashakti tushti siddhakyaha guna vaishamya vimardena tasya bhedastu panchashat. Yesha, now, yesha mean now, or hereafter. Yesha pratyaya sargaha. Pratyaya sargaha means what you call the portion. It's not one shloka, a set of shlokas. Pratyaya sargaha. Pratyaya sargaha. What are the pratyayas according to him? There are 4 pratyayas he is talking about. What are they? Viparyaya. Have you heard of viparyaya? Yes, we have come across viparyaya in Yoga Sutras. Pramana, viparyaya. Viparyaya. Then the second one is ashakti. Second one is pratyaya, viparyaya, ashakti. Ashakti means what? Weakness, isn't it? Ashakti is weakness. Ashakti is weakness. Ashakti. What is by tushti? Solunga. Yeah, but then that is what we normally see. Tushti actually means, what do you call, contentment. Contentment or content. That is, you don't strive for more. Whatever you get, you say, even though you are entitled for more, you say if somebody gives you something, you say, all right. Not that you are happy with that, but you are not going to go after that. So, another term that some people use is complacency. Okay, whatever be the result, I will do whatever I have to do. It is not the way Krishna talks about, that is called tushti. Tushti means, tushti here refers to not in a positive sense. Tushti is complacency here. Then siddhi. What is in by siddhi here? Siddhi is not the siddhi as used by Patanjali. So far as our Sāṁkhya Kārikā is concerned, siddhi is what? Achievement, attainment. What do you want to attain? I want to attain kaivalya. I want to attain kaivalya. So, what are the factors that will help you to achieve kaivalya? He is going to talk about. In the Yoga Sutras, they say the way to achieve this is to get into samadhi, use your samadhi capability, and then ultimately use it. Here he is going to talk about a slightly different set of approaches. So, these are the pratyayas. 4 pratyayas, 4 groups of pratyayas. Viparya pratyaya, Ashakti Pratyaya, Tushti Pratyaya and Siddhi Pratyaya. These are the four groups of Pratyayas. Pratyaya means Pratyayam Pratyayam. Okay, the tendency of the mind. That's what we have got to understand. The mental tendency, Pratyaya. Then Guna Vaishamya Vimardena. Guna Vaishamya means what? Guna Vaishamya means because of the gunas. Vaishamya means what do you call imbalance. Vaishamyena, because of that. Vishama means, Vaishamya Vimardena Tasya Bhedastu Panchashat. They can be further divided into 50 pratyayas. Viparyaya, Ashakti, Tushti, Siddhakhyaha. They are known as Viparyaya is one group, Ashakti is another group, Tushti is the third group, and Siddhi is the fourth group. Of the four pratyayas, only one pratyaya is useful. Only one is useful. The others are, some are bad, some are not useful. Viparyaya, Ashakti, Tushti, Siddhi, Eva Pratyaya Sargaha. These are these Pratyaya Sargas. Tasya Guna Vaishamyat. Even there are differences. Okay, if you take the first one Viparyaya, it is divided into 5 depending upon the intensity of the gunas. Sometimes, the tamas is more dominant, rajas is more dominant. That it takes place, the intensity changes. So, the author has said that this can be further divided into subgroups. So totally he is able to identify 50 pratyayas. Pratyaya can be considered to be a chittavarti, right? Any questions on this? No. Good. Yesha pratyaya sargaha. Viparyaya Ashakti. Tushti. Siddhakhyaha. Guna Vaishamya. Vimardena. Tasya Bhedastu. Panchashat. So there are 50 further variations. These are the 4. Right, let's go through one by one. 47th sloka. Pancha viparyaya bhedaha bhavanti ashaktischa karana vaikalyate ashtavimshati bhedaha tushtihi navadha ashtada siddhihi. Pancha viparyaya bhedaha. Pancha viparyaya vedaha. Viparya itself can be subdivided into 5. Pancha viparyaya vedaha. Then ashaktischa bhavanti. The ashakti karana vaikalyat, due to the weakness of the various karanas. What are the karanas? Buddhi, then the manas, the indriyas, all of them put together. Karana vaikalyat. Ashtavimshati bhedaha. There are 28, Ashtavimshati, 28 different types of Ashakti. Tushtihi navadha. Tushti, let us take it as complacence. If you don't take to satisfaction, then it's a positive idea. So, Tushti, try to say, contentment also is not the right word. Complacency. Navadha, it is of 9 type. Ashtadha siddhihi. Siddhihi is what we want. Siddhi is accomplishing the goal, which is understanding the nature of the self, the kaivalya. And that is helped by 8 pratyayas. 8 pratyayas are helpful in that. Pancha viparyaya bhedaha. Bhavanti. Ashaktischa. karanavaikalyaat. अष्टाविंशति भेदाः तुष्टिर्नवधा अष्टधा सिद्धिः पञ्चविपर्ययभेदा भवन्त्यशक्तिश्च करणवैकल्यात् अष्टाविंशतिभेदा तुष्टिर्नवधाष्टधा सिद्धिः. So there are 5 viparyayas, 28 ashaktis, 9 tushtis and 8 siddhis. Now let us get to the what are the various viparyaya bhedas. Viparyaya is the first pratyaya he talked about, and it is not a helpful pratyaya. So this is a good way, good way to keep, all right, is my mind in, what kind of a mode my mind is in? This is a way to check. Is it in a viparyaya mode, or is it in the, ashakti mode? See, this is a good way to, so this way it is helpful. This particular section is that way very helpful. Shloka number 48. Bhedas tamasoshtavidho mohasya cha dashavidho mahamohaha tamishroštadashadha tata bhavanti andhata misraha. Now, he doesn't say it is viparya bheda, but the commentators say this. Now, in this shloka, he explains the various, the subdivisions are of the viparya. How many viparyayas are there? 5 are there. So he explains the 5 here, and he gives a name also there. And then they themselves are divided further into subdivisions. So that he mentions in this. Even though he says it's 50, out of this 50, each one he tries to subdivide further. So just let us go through that. Vedaha tamasaha ashtavida. The first subdivision of viparyaya is tamas. Don't confuse with the tamas in the, the 3 gunas. This is a term that they had applied in the olden days. Okay. See, we say, sometimes we say, enna tamasama irukku. You are very, reluctant, or you don't, you are very, what shall you say, you are not aggressive, tamasa, you waste a lot of time, you are lazy. Okay. So, right. So, Vedaha tamasaha ashtavidaha. First one he calls the viparyaya. The first one he calls it tamas. Then the second one he is called mohascha. Moha is vedascha tamaso ashtavidaha. Mohascha dashavido. Dashavido means 10 times of moha. What is it by moha? Moha means delusion. Dashavida moha. Then mahamoha. Mahamoha is intense, great, delusion. It is another 10 types. Tamisraha is the next one. The higher one is Tamisraha. Ashtadashada. Ashtadashada means, what is Ashtadasha? 18. Ashtadashada. Tata bhavanti andhatamisraha. Andhatamisraha is the most intense form of viparyaya. Andhatamisraha. Ashtadashada bhavati. It is of 18 types, right? So this is the shloka. Now let us try to understand this. Tamas, moha, mahamoha, tamisra, andhatamisra. And each one of them, tamas is of 8 types. Tamas, 8 types. Then there are 8 types of moha. 10 types of moha. Then 10 types of mahamoha. Then tamisra is 18 type. Then andhatamisra also is of 18 types. Right? What are they? Let us try to. Does he give what they say? Does he say what they are? I don't know. I don't think so. Right? The commentators say that. Then the next, pardon? Tamisra is what? Let me find an English word for that. Tamisraha. Tamisra, they call it as darkness. I don't know. Complete dark. Huh? gloom, right, okay. Tamisra, andhatamisra. These are the viparyayas. All right. Now, you can understand this a little better because some of the commentators compare these five viparyayas to five kleshas. We are familiar with the kleshas, avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, the five kleshas. So some of the commentators compare it to the five five kleshas. What are the kleshas? Avidya. So what is avidya here? According to them, tamas will be compared to avidya, then moha will be asmita, mahamoha will be raga, tamisra will be dvesha, andhatamisra is abhinivesha, right? Andhatamisra is the anxiety, gloom or anxiety, complete darkness that lead to abhinivesha, fear. That leads. So these are the five viparya bheda. If my mind is constantly in this kind of thing, it is not good. Avidya, see, right through, mind is in a state of avidya because it doesn't spend any time trying to understand the nature of the self. So, by and large, our mind is in a state of avidya all the time. Then moha, from avidya, then asmita becomes. Moha means you start concentrating more and more on your own self. You become more and more self-centered. That will be moha. Mahamoha will be the avidya. Mahamoha will be asmita. Asmita is again, identifying yourself only with the body. There is absolutely no chance for you to think of anything else. Asmi, aham asmi iti bhavaha asmita. I exist in this body. So that keeps on, that becomes intense. So then it is called mahamoha. Constantly you think about your own. What is the English term for that? That is, you always think about yourself. Egocentric. Yeah. What is narcissistic? Yes, sir. Mahamoha. Tamisra, then what happens? Right. Then Tamisra is the opposite of that. You not only you like yourself, you start hating others. Tamisra, then Andhatamisra. Andhatamisra is the fear. Andhatamisra is fear. Right? These are the four attitudes. If I have these these five attitudes, I should be concerned. Right? That will be the sixth attitude. Concerned. Right. Now, maybe if we have the time, I'll come back to the further subdivisions he is talking about because I don't know whether we'll have the time. We'll come back to it because the basic text does not, he merely says these are the subdivisions. What are those? Maybe if I find time tomorrow, we'll come back to it. Is it okay with you? Right. Bhedas tamaso ashtavidaha mohasya cha dashavido mahamohaha tamisraha ashtadashadha tata bhavanti andhata mishraha. So the first pratyaya, the first pratyaya which is viparyaya pratyaya can be further divided into these four, these five. Tamas, yes, Tamisra and Andhatamisra, these are the five. These are compared by some of the authors to the five kleshas mentioned in the Yoga Sutras. We'll go through the other three maybe tomorrow. Because, okay. Bhedas tamasaha. Ashtavidho mohasya cha. Dashavido mahamohaha. Tamisro ashtadashadha. Tata bhavati andhata misraha. Bhedastamasoshtavidho mohasya cha dashavido mahamohaha tamisroštadashadha tata bhavatyandhata misraha. Right. Now he goes to the next one, which is known as Ashakti. Ashakti means weakness. Okay. Viparyaya means what? Viparitam paryeti iti viparyaha. Seeing things not in the way it is to be seen. The mind creates its own wrong impressions about the whole thing, and that he has classified, further divided into moha, mahamoha, tamisra, andatamisra. What is it? Moha, no, tamas, moha, mahamoha, tamisra, andatamisra, right? Now he takes the next one. What is the next one? Tushti, okay? Ashakti. Ashakti means what? Weakness, Again, if the mind is confused, you can't do the thing right. It's not going to give you happiness. Now, Ashakti, weakness. What are the different types of weakness? I'm feeling very weak, you keep on complaining. That becomes a habit. After some time, it becomes a habit. Ekadashendriyavadhaha saha buddhivadaihi ashaktiruddishta saptadasha vadha buddhehe viparyayat tushti siddhinam. Okay. Ekadasha indriyavadhaha. So weakness can be due to the ekadasha indriyavadhaha. What are the ekadasha indriyas? The 11 indriyas, the 5 karma indriyas, 5 jnana indriyas, and the manas. All of them can be defective, okay, weakness, or can be weak. Buddhivadaihi saha ekadasha indriyavadaha. Ekadasha means the 11 indriyavadaha. My eyesight may go away, my hearing will go away, I won't be able to use my hands, I may not be able to use my legs. Okay, so these are the various ashakti that can come. These are, and then naturally it is going to affect the mind. The pratyaya also is going to be affect the mind. If some have a problem, what happens? The mind is going to be mostly concentrating upon that. Will be thinking only about that, isn't it? So ekadasha indriyavadaha ashaktihi uddishta. Right? So buddhi vadehi sada, along with the affliction of the buddhi. If the buddhi is also affected, along with that, normally when these 11 indriyas are affected, the buddhi is also going to be affected, isn't it? You are not going to, as I told you are going to be thinking only about the defects. So the mind is already distracted. There is no time for you to think on all those things that the Sāṁkhyas are talking about. Buddhi vadaihi saha ekadasha indriyavadaha. It is called ashakti uddishta. It is said to be ashakti. Then he goes on to talk about tushti siddhinam viparyayat buddhehe saptadavadaha bhavanti. He is going to explain tushti later on. Okay, tushti siddhinam viparyayat. What does he say? Tushti siddhinam. There are 9 complacency is going to talk about. Okay, some people are not like that. They keep on worrying about that. So, is it clear? No. Tushti is going to explain later. He says here, if you lack tushti, then that will also affect your brain, affect your buddhi. What are those, tushti is going to explain. See, ashakti can be due to the, weakness of the 11 indriyas. Okay. Tushti siddhinam viparyayat. If you are not able to have, see, tushti is not completely bad. It is better than ashakti. Isn't it? It is better than ashakti. Tushti siddhinam viparyayat. By my inability to achieve tushti, to have tushti or contentment or complacency, buddhehe saptadavadaha bhavanti. It affects the mind in 7 different ways. So how much do you have now? 11 plus? I'm sorry. No, just a little. Let me start counting. Here the word is tushti siddhinam. Tushti is 1. How many tushtis have been mentioned? No. How many tushtis? 9 tushtis. And how many siddhis have been mentioned? 8. If you achieve neither tushti or siddhi, how many are there? 17. Okay, 17. If you don't have the 17, it also adds to your weakness. Okay, so how many weaknesses we have? And these 17 affect the buddhi. All these 17 will affect the buddhi. I have not reached the siddhi. 8 different types of siddhis they are talking about, I have not reached. 9 different types of what you call tushti I have not reached. So that is called viparyaya. I'm sorry, viparyayat. It is different from that. In addition to that, the 11 indriyas have not been, 11 indriyas are also defective. So totally 11 plus 17, totally 28 different types of ashaktis are possible. Tushti siddhi nam, is it clear? How many? 28, okay, good. So the 11 organs can be defective. The buddhi can be affected by the lack of tushti or the lack of siddhi. Right? Good. Buddhi vadaihi. Now we are going to Ashakti in the 49th sloka. Buddhi vadaihi, with the injury of the buddhi, saha, along with that. Ekadasha, now we can, Ekadasha, 11 indriya vadaha, the affliction of the indriyas, ashaktihi uddishta, they are considered to be ashaktihi. Then, tushti siddhi nam viparyayat, tushti siddhi nam, tushti is a group of 9, and then siddhi is a group of 8. Tushti siddhi nam viparyayat, unable to have tushti or siddhi, buddhehe, to the buddhi, saptada, 17 types of vadaha bhavanti. The buddhi is afflicted in 17 different ways. So totally we have got the indriya vada on one hand and the buddhi vada 17. Totally 28 ashakti can take place. Okay. Any questions? Does it add up? Do you have difficulty adding up? Ekadasha Indriyavadhaha Saha buddhivadhaihi Ashaktiruddishta Saptadashavada buddhehe Viparyayat Tushti siddhinam Okay. Ekadasha indriyavadaha, 11 indriyas are afflicted, and along with that there are also buddhivadaihi. If the buddhi is afflicted, ashaktihi uddishta, that is also considered to be ashakti. What are those buddhi vadha? There are 17 types of buddhi vadas. Saptadasha, sapta means 7, dasha means 10, saptadasha vada buddhehe. The buddhi, intellect, can be afflicted in 17 different ways. Due to what? Tushti siddhi nam viparyayat, because of the non-accomplishment of the tushti or siddhi. Tushti is poor man's siddhi. Right? Ekadashendriyavadaha saha buddhivadaihi ashaktiruddishta saptadashavadha buddhehe viparyayat tushti siddhinam. Yes.
It's not really a question, more like maybe an affirmation, I don't know. Like in old age, like we are naturally afflicted. So this is simply nature rather than affliction?
No, irrespective of the age, this any weakness will distract the mind, whether in a young age or old age. So that's all what it says.
But eyesight failing,
Yes.
failing in old age is normally a natural tendency.
It is natural, but at the same time it is a weakness. That is why we feel old. We feel weak when we get old. Not only the indriyas fail, the body fails, all the indriyas and the body fail. So we feel more and more. So it is more difficult to follow the path of what the Sāṁkhyas or Yogas say when you get older. better start early. Once you start early, then it may be easier for you to overcome the weakness that may set in at a later stage in life. Now the whole thing is, he wants to put everything so that we have a good understanding about the way, what are the pratyayas. All right, these are the pratyayas. We keep on our chitta pratyaya, chitta pratyayas keep on changing. Now, instead of saying that, the lots of chitta pratyayas are taking place moment after moment, now he wants to put them in the proper perspective so that we can pick and choose those pratyayas which are favorable to us, and then try to avoid the other. So he says, all right, chitta pratyaya or the pratyayas can be unhelpful. The ashakti is something which is not helpful, right? Be aware of that. That's about all. We'll go to the 50th sloka. Adhyatmikaschatasraha prakriti upadana kala bhagyakyaha bhakya vishayo paramate panchanava tushtayo abhihitaha. So how many tushtis? He talked about 9 tushtis. Now he tries to explain the nine tushtis here. Of course, usually in Sāṁkhya, when you read, these are not considered to be important, but they are very important. They help you to assess our situation. Tushti. Adhyatmikyaha, concerning ourselves internally. Tushtayaha, prakriti upadana kala bhagyakyaha. Now already you study the Yoga Sutras, you study the Sāṁkhya Kārikā. Now you have you have some inclination to follow the path that is mentioned in the Yoga Sutras and the Sāṁkhya Kārikā. Then what do we do? Definitely, I will tell you one thing. Anybody who has gone through Yoga Sutra or Sāṁkhya Kārikā is not the same. They have changed, It may not be significant, but there is a change, because certain ideas which were not there have already been given. You can't completely ignore that. Once you go through the Yoga Sutras or go to the Sāṁkhya Kārikā, some new idea which you are not familiar with. If you had already familiar with, this is a different thing. There are many people who start, when you start, then they say, okay, the Atman is different from the body. So this is something which we are not familiar with, or we are not thought on those lines. So new idea has been given. Once that is given, what do you do? Right. Then there are, once you know that, what you do? Right. Prakriti upadana kala bhagyakyaha. Now then what do you do? Then we go back and then do. At the same time, every now and then, when you read one shloka here and there, or when you talk to somebody, or when you are not very happy, instead of reading some other novel, you take Sāṁkhya Kārikā and read one shloka here and there until you feel sleepy. So you come back to it. You come back to it in occasionally. Then after some time, one day you suddenly, oh yes, I didn't look at it this way. Now there seems to be, it conveys some more meaning than I had thought. Then you get more and more interested, and then you get more and more involved in it. That is one. There is many times what happens, the life's requirements take precedence over all these things. So mostly our responsibilities continue to occupy our time. So then what happens? You become complacent. You know what is to be done, but we are not able to do that. So what do we do? Okay, Prakriti. Okay, Prakriti means what? Prakriti. See, nature will take care of everything, We shouldn't bother about it. Okay, I have already known about it. Nature does everything. Prakriti is doing everything. The same Prakriti is the one in my buddhi which will have to show the way. It will do it in course of time. Prakriti will do it. Prakriti will do it, right? I am part of Prakriti only. This body is part of Prakriti. So that is a complacency. Tushti. I know what is to be known. But I am not going to do anything. I am going to allow Prakriti to do everything. That is one kind of tushti. Does it make sense? Yes. Right. Okay, Prakriti tushti is being complacent that nature in due course will bring about release. If not now, maybe next year, maybe 10 janmas later, maybe 100 janmas later. In course of time it will happen. Okay, all right. I know what Sāṁkhya has to say. I know this is the truth, but I am not going to do anything because I got so many other things to do. I am not able to withdraw from others. I got so much of weakness, I got so much of viparya, I am not able to do anything. Okay, nature will take care of everything. But at the same time, I know what is to be done. Okay, it is different from viparya people. Viparya people do not know what it is. They are in avidya, smita, raga, dvesha group. Now you know what it is, but at the same time, because of weakness or because of what you call procrastination, you allow things to drift and then say, okay, nature will take care of it. Upadana is all right. Upadana means all right. Upadana means all right. Then what do? You see, all right. I have studied everything. That is what do they say? They say you give up everything, and then follow the path, the spiritual path. So what do? I give up everything. I go to a sannyasin or you go to an ashram. They say, okay, you give up everything. But then your effort is, instead of my teacher was saying once regarding sannyasin, you give up everything and then go to Himalayas or whatever it be, but you are taking the same mind. So the same buddhi is going there. It is not changing. So what is to be changed is not so much the circumstances that is why it is not so necessary to change your ashram. What is required is to change your mind. So there are some people, upadana means, let us try to follow the means. So you join an ashram or a monastery, they give you a regimen, you follow that particular regimen. If you follow that regimen, everything will be fine. Isn't it? There are people who spend their entire lifetime, dedicated to a particular way of life. That is called upadana. So it will take care of everything. Am I making sense? It's another one. You follow an order, you join an order, and then say everything will be taken care of by that. That is another kind of tushti. Then the next one is bhagya. Bhagya means luck. Bhagya means luck. Kala. Yeah, Kala is good. So in course of time, everything will be. There is no urgency at all. I will still do my yoga. I will still do my pranayama. As it is, I am quite happy with the asana. Maybe pranayama I will start maybe next year or 2025 or 2040. Because pranayama is not very exciting. So I will do asanas. I will try to spend more and more time on asanas, and I will keep on doing it. Right? In course of time, that's what, you keep on doing asana, everything will come automatically. No, nothing comes automatically. So this is the third one. What is the third one is? Kala. In course of time, everything will work out. No. Then finally, bhagya. Bhagya is luck, If I am lucky, I will be Swami Muktananda. Okay, right. So these are the four kinds of tushtis he is talking about. Prakriti, Upadana, Kala, Bhagyakyaha. These are the four types. Vishaya Uparamat, Bahya, Pancha. Vishaya Uparamat. This is what we have seen earlier, the Apara Vairagya. You see what you do, I'll let you. This is again common in our society. What do you do? When you get older, you retire, and then after you retire, what do you do? The husband and wife, they go to a pilgrimage to Benares. You go to Benares. Once you go to Benares, what do? You give up something. Okay. Now I got to start giving up. Okay. Vairagya. I am going to develop Vairagya. So you go there, and then what do? You give up one fruit. You give up one vegetable. That's about all. And then come back. Okay. So, all right, and now I am developing Vairagya now, you see. So, yes?
I have a question about
Bhagya luck, right?
a scheme that involves karma.
Yeah.
No such thing as luck.
No, I am in a state where I don't look at all these things. I am in a state where I believe in luck. Now, many people believe in that because you see, the people who buy a lottery believe in luck. So this person also believes in luck. This all will happen in due course. Don't worry about it. They are very, very sure about it. So that is the attitude. That is the pratyaya they are talking about. Maybe it is due to karma. Maybe the right karma will be there. But then, whether I have the right karma, I don't know. So I can't assume that Kala will do everything in due. By and large, it won't. Right. But then, what were we discussing? Yeah. Okay. You give up different kinds of fruit. You give up some fruit or some sweets. Supposing you are already diabetic, you go and give up some sweets. All these things can be done. Right. If you are suffering from stomach ulcer, you may give up samosa, whatever. There are so many ways we can give up. This is with respect to food. Like that, you can give up. Supposing you are used to Hollywood music, you can give it up. You can give up Hollywood music, and then instead of that, you can start listening to classical music or something like that. So these are all vairagya. Okay, all right. I'll do one thing now. Hereafter, I will not listen to Bollywood music. I will only listen to M.S. Subbulakshmi's music. Okay, because it's all called bhajan and spiritual, not spiritual, devotional music is there. I will listen to that. Likewise, you can give up other things. You can give up instead of using 4 mattresses, you remove all these things, try to live on a cold floor. There are so many ways by which you can try to torture yourself and then say, I am developing vairagya, right? Vishaya uparamat. So we got, that is by starving different senses. In fact, this is what the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras say. Apara vairagya, ekendriya, what do you call it? Apara vairagya, ekendriya is one step. That is, you take one indriya and then you try to bring it under control. Either all right. Okay, so these are 4 steps. Are you familiar with that? There are 4 apara vairagya. I will. Vashikara, samya, there are 4 steps. Right? Bhahyaha, panchayiti, navatushthayaha. There are 9 ways by which you console, you try to console yourself. Everything will be fine. Supposing something goes wrong, you go to your friend, you go to your grandmother, she'll say everything will be fine. I don't know how it will be fine. At least gives you some complacency. You try to, okay, it may be helpful for a short period of time. So these are the attitudes. Tushti is the next attitude, right?
Sir, what are the 5
5 external objects. You develop vairagya towards sense objects one by one. You stop listening to right. You start whatever you taste. You try to the food that you take. You try to have a control. Try to make it more and more sattvic. These are the so merely renouncing will give to moksha is a tushti. It's not, doesn't lead to the goal. It only will make you complacent. At least you are not disturbed. Okay, you are complacent. Whereas with respect to the earlier one, ashakti, you don't have this tushti. You constantly worry. In the earlier one, that's worse. Right? Adhyatmikaha. Chatasraha. Prakriti. Upadana. Kala. Bhagyakyaha. Bahya. Vishaya uparamat. Pancha. Navatushthayaha. Abhihitaha. abhimataha. I have abhihitaha. Abhimataha means this is the view. Abhimataha is the view. Adhyatmikascha tasraha prakrityupadana kala bhagyakyaha bhakya vishayo paramatmancha navatushtayo abhihitaha or abhimataha. Okay, we'll go to the next one, which is the most important pratyaya. Unlike in yoga, unlike this, one difference you got to see. In yoga, what does he say? If the mind does not concentrate, because we need a very concentrating mind. A mind which is able to concentrate so much, it will even forget oneself. So that kind of concentration they are talking about, ekagrata. That will lead to a state of samadhi. In ekagrata, you are still aware of yourself. Only thing is your mind is concentrating on one object. Whereas in a state of samadhi, you even forget yourself. So that kind of intense concentration is necessary. And most of us do not have. Most of our span is very limited. So in a matter of 15 minutes or so, the mind goes over a number of objects. Different chittavartis are presented during those short period of 15 minutes. If I am able to bring my mind to one chittavarti for the entire duration of 15 minutes, that requires prior training. I need to train myself because samskara sesham vichittam, my mind is what you call used to being distracted. So if I can just sit down without any preparation and then say, let me concentrate on one object, it doesn't, isn't it? It goes away. Anybody wants to sit down and meditate for 15 minutes without any proper preparation will find that there is no difference between how the mind functions outside the meditating time and the time you are sitting down and meditate. So some preparations are required, and that preparation is said to be yoga. That preparation is said to be yoga. A constantly distracted mind is made into a habitually one-pointed mind in yoga. Okay, so how do you bring about that? That is why we got the Ashtanga Yoga. You start your Yamanayama, regularly practice your Yamanayama. You decide that you are going to follow Yamanayama hereafter, which are Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Parigraha, then Shaucha, Santoshat, Tapaswadhyaya, Ishwar Pranidhane, all of these things you are going to, and then you start practicing. And then how do you make sure that you are practicing every day? Maybe at the time you go to bed, you take a minute or so, and then just review the whole day's practice. Did I practice ahimsa? Did I harm anybody unnecessarily? That's a simple question we ask. And then, okay, if you see, okay, I shouldn't have said this, it was unnecessary, it is not warranted. So okay, you may, so on the second day, you again see whether you followed ahimsa. If you keep on doing it over a period of time, because you review your activities on a daily basis from the point of view of ahimsa, you will be able to see that after a few days, your own daily activities will be, it will be it will display more and more ahimsa rather than himsa. It is a habit. Himsa is a habit. Ahimsa also is a habit, right? Some people have got ahimsa innate in them. Some people have himsa innate in them. If a himsa person who is highly tamasic and rajasic, he wants to become an ahimsa person, some effort is needed. So that is why in the Yoga Sutras he says ahimsa satya. Then similarly, some of us are good people, but then we have got a habit of telling lies. Though the moment you start talking, I start with a lie. Not always, sometimes I do that. So that becomes a habit. If that becomes a habit, it is going to disturb the mind. It is not a good way to proceed with yoga. So satya will have to be. So again, the night. Okay, did he do anything? Did he violate ahimsa today? No, not really. That's good. Now, did I say anything untrue unnecessarily? Yeah, maybe half a dozen times. You make a note of it. Don't try to become completely. Don't become harsh on yourself, because there's nobody else to talk to, And then third, ahimsa, satya, asteya. We don't normally do that. Do we take anybody else? Belongings? Probably not. Asteya, brahmacharya. This is another trait that you check. Then aparigraha. If you are very serious about yoga, then aparigraha. Aparigraha is keep on accumulating more and more than what you need. If that is the tendency, you try to have a tab on that. Then yamani, the niyamas are shaucha. Shaucha means to keep the mind and body clean. Santosha, keep it contented. Don't be constantly be what do you call, discontented. That kind of attitude if I have all through the day, then all it. I shouldn't allow my mind to remain in this state. Shaucha, santosha. Then tapas. What is tapas? Mitahara and mita bhashana. Did I overeat today? Did I talk too much today? See, this is something which we can check every day. Tapas. Then swadhyaya. Did we study any of these things? Take at least one shloka in the Bhagavad Gita or the what do you call, the Sāṁkhya Kārikā or Yoga Sutra. If you are very serious about it, at least one or two shlokas every day, go through that and take about 10-15 minutes swadhyaya. It may be Vedic study or some of the study. Then Ishvara Pranidhana. It's not a bad thing to follow. If you are not against Ishvara, then it doesn't hurt if you what do you call, offer a flower or a what do you call, some water, or that's what the Bhagavad Gita says. Offer something very little to me, I will be quite happy. So all these things put together gets your mind more into the what you call yogic frame of mind. Every night we can just about a minute every day, and then if you do it on a conscious level, then what happens over a period of time? There will be a change, and then the what you call, you get into a more very favorable yogic state of mind. Then you practice your asanas. When you practice your asanas, what happens? The asanas are supposed to reduce the rajoguna. Asanena rajohanti. You practice asanas regularly. Then you also practice your pranayama regularly. Pranayama is supposed to reduce your tamoguna. Okay. Once the rajoguna and tamoguna, which are the systemic rajas and tamas, come down, your whole system will become more and more sattvic. So then if you start your what you call meditation, ekagrata, take a mantra, or if you are what you call chakra meditation, you find out whatever is suitable to you, then concentrate upon that. And course of time, because you have prepared yourself very well, it may be much easier for you to what you call, make progress in that. Your chitta vrittis will be less bothering during your meditation. Meditation requires preparation. The amount of preparation required for meditation will vary from person to person. It depends upon how rajasic or tamasic the system is. So there are two types of rajas, tamas you got to take up. One is the systemic rajas and tamas. The other will be the rajas and tamas from the environment, isn't it? We are not sitting in a cave. We are communicating with other people. We are eating food which can be rajasic or tamasic or sattvic. So we are constantly interacting with the outside world. So yama niyamas will take care of reducing the ingestion of rajas and tamas from the outside environment. Then if you do asana and pranayama practice, the systemic rajas and tamas start coming down. So you take care not to, you take necessary steps not to take rajas and tamas from the outside world by yama niyamas. Then you practice your asana and pranayama, which are the two important steps of hatha yoga. You practice these two, get your rajas and tamas come down. Then you strengthen your sattva by doing your meditation. You meditate. See, initially when you sit down and meditate, what happens if you don't have any preparations? There are some schools where they don't give you any preparation at all. It's a meditation school. In fact, there I met a school where they teach you only meditation. He said, we are Raja Yogis, we are not Hatha Yogis. You see, we are not Hatha Yogis, we are Raja Yogis. So you go there, in the evening you go there, sit down, and then they ask you to meditate. You meditate for half an hour or 1 hour. It goes on for a month, and then the next month you are not there. Because you don't see any result, because you didn't prepare yourself. But the system, the Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali, is a systematic development. Why did they ask you to do yama niyamas? Why did they ask you to do asana? Why did they ask you to do pranayama? They asked you to do asanas not to become an asana expert so that you can stand on the fingertips. That's not what they wanted. They wanted you to make necessary exercise for the body so that the rakta sanchara and prana sanchara will be smooth. The rajas will come down. Then you sit down and do your pranayama so that the tamas will be removed from the system. Then you are in a much, much better condition to practice. So their whole aim is to make your mind capable of remaining focused. They want your mind to remain focused. Because trying to understand the nature of the Atman requires enormous amount of concentration. You see, occasionally reading the Yoga Sutras, these are good, but then whatever, we go back, and then if you are very serious about it, that is why Ashtanga Yoga is for a lifelong yogi. I want to take to Ashtanga Yoga on a lifelong basis so that I will be able to achieve the goal. So when I want to do that, then these are the procedures. That's why they came out with 8 steps, right? So if you are a Ashtanga yogi, then this will be the system that. But then some of the other philosophies like Sāṁkhya and also you don't find mention about Samadhi and other things in the Sāṁkhya Kārikā. And even in Vedanta, they don't give so much of importance to the yogic discipline, but they welcome that. So if you have this, the discipline, that is good, but what they consider to be more important is the, analysis, and then coming to the conclusion that the Atman is the real self. There is no point in merely reading the book which says that Atman is this and that. That is some knowledge. That is a paroksha knowledge. When the paroksha knowledge is there, then how can I say whether this is what Ishvara Krishna or Kapila have found out, or for that matter Patanjali has found out? See, this is fine for them. Because they have found out, they have been able to explain these things. How can I internalize it? How can I make it my own? I can make it my own only by... So Patanjali says you can make it your own by already. You read, understand, and then follow the, get your mind able to focus, then you will be able to do that. But these people say the most important thing is you must be convinced. Through Anumana, you should convince yourself. You should be able to, I should be able to see the truth as they were able to see the truth. If you have doubts about it, then keep on, and then don't make any efforts, then it is not good. I should make, supposing I find that what Sāṁkhya says or what Buddhism says or Vedanta says is not right, I got to come to the conclusion this is not right. Not because X says this or Y says this. How do I do it? That is where you need enormous amount of contemplation, thinking about it, and that he calls it as Uha. This is the first statement. Siddhihi uchyate. What are the siddhis? Not the Animadi siddhis they are talking about. Here the siddhi is to achieve the goal of Kaivalya. Siddhi is to reach the goal of Kaivalya. That's what he is talking about. He is not interested in the various siddhis Patanjali is talking about. He is not interested in that. Okay. Uhaha, Shabdaha, Adhyayanam, Dukkha Vighataha, Trayaha, Suhrut Praptikhi, Danamcha, Siddhayoho Ashtau, Siddhehe, Purvaha, Ankushaha, Trividaha. So he says, what are the pratyayas? What are the pratyayas that are helpful? What are the pratyaya? There are 4 pratyayas, okay? Out of this 50 pratyayas, he says the 8 pratyayas are helpful. One of them, perhaps the most important one according to him, is the Uha. Uha means inference, okay? Keep on thinking about it. What does this shloka says? What does this shloka says? What are the contradictions? I don't find it right. So I had to bend backwards to find out what these blokes have to say. It is my job. I have to do that. That is called Uha. Uha means you think about, yes, this is how it should be. This is how it should be. Am I making sense? Tamil Uham Padua solron, but here Uha is to infer. You gave all the information and then ultimately come to the conclusion, so that you will be able to see it by yourself. Otherwise, the whole idea is nobody can help us. We have to find out the solution ourselves. In fact, I remember long time back, one of my relatives, she came and asked a simple question. The Vedanta, the Brahma Sutras. There are 3 different, there are more, but basically well-known 3 interpretations of Vedanta are the Advaita school, then the Visishta Advaita school, and the Dvaita school. Isn't it? There are 3 schools are there. And all of them are great people. Shankara is great. Shankara has got a better knowledge than I have. Madhvacharya has got a higher knowledge. All of them are great people. Now the question is, she started asking, they are all great people, but if all the 3 of them give a different interpretation, brother, which is right? Which is right? That's the question is good. Then I say, then what should be the answer? The answer is you have got to find out yourself. If you ask somebody else, that will be the 4th view. You have to find out, there is no shortcut. There is no shortcut, and that is Uha. Everybody has to, what you call, struggle through. You can't get your PhD without writing a proper thesis. Of course, nowadays you can, you can do anything and get a PhD. So what I'm saying, everybody will have to go through this. Everybody will have to go through this. And that process, he calls it as Uha. Uha means just think about it. Even while you are talking to your husband or your wife, the back of the mind, okay, this is what this sutra says, this is what this shloka says, what does it mean? Keep nodding to whatever they say, but at the same time be thinking about it. Uhaha, right. Shabdaha, Shabda means oral instructions. Many times what happens, merely by reading a book, you will not be able to get it, or even reading a commentary will not be able to do that. In fact, there are some people, what do? The way to understand, study the Yoga Sutras is, they have a group, half a dozen people join together, each one brings a different book. I bring the book written by somebody, another person brings another book, all the 5 books are kept, and then the coordinator will say, what does this, she says something, the second person says something, what is the end result? Confusion. I have to decide. So already even understand, out of the 6, which appears to be the right. So, Uhaha, Shabdaha, at the same time, Shabda refers to oral instruction. Shabda means oral instruction. We have got to study with a guru to start with. Study with a teacher, get the proper instructions, then it will help you to go further in that particular subject. That's why we go to school, isn't it? Otherwise everybody can study by himself or herself. We don't do that, we go to school. If that is the case with ordinary things like accountancy and and tourism, why not study with a teacher to understand the Sāṁkhya Kārikā or the Yoga Sutras? Uhaha, Shabdaha, Adhyayanam. Adhyayana means study by yourself. Okay. You hear from the teacher, then Adhyayana, study by yourself. Trayaha. These, and then Trayaha Dukkha Vigataha. Trayaha means 3. What are the 3? We have already come across the first shloka. Dukkha Traya Vigataha, Adhyatmika Dukkha, Adi Devika Dukkha, Adi. So, right, Adi Bhautika. So, when these dukkha's start coming down, okay, they are helpful. If your mind is constantly in a state of dukkha, they are not helpful chitta, they are not helpful pratyayas. So, reduction of dukkha. You take steps to reduce the dukkha by yourself. So, Traya Dukkha Vigataha, Suhrut Praptihi. Suhrut Prapti is something very similar to, sometimes you study yourself, you go to a teacher, you study yourself, and then Suhrut Prapti. Every now and then it is good to consult with somebody else who seems to have the understanding. Suhrut Praptihi, you meet right knowledgeable people. And Dana. Dana is charity. Of course, this is what he says. The meaning of Dana is, if you find somebody who has the knowledge, pay him money, pay him money and then get the knowledge from them. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. Dhanam, okay? Good. Dhanam, Ashtau Siddhayaha. So these are the 8 methods by which we will be able to, achieve the ultimate goal. What is the ultimate goal? Ultimate goal is the Kaivalya. For you to achieve Kaivalya, these are the 8. And the most important one is Uha. Most important one is keep on thinking about it. Don't give up. Don't give up. This Adhyatmika, Adi Bhaudika, Adi Devika. That's the Traya Dukkha Vigata. Traya is the word Traya. Traya means 3. The 3 types of dukkha. You try to start reducing the 3 types of dukkha so that they are not distractions. Then Suhrut Prapti, be in touch with a proper Sangha. Suhrut Prapti is to try to have a proper Sangha. You try to find out opportunities so that you will be able to discuss that. If you find that you don't have, maybe you have a, you have a group, or it can be even, now it can be even networking, some people, send some questions and then they get answers from their friends. Okay, Suhrut Praptihi, and at least one of them should be knowledgeable, otherwise that's a problem. Siddhehe Purvaha Trividaha Ankushaha. What he says is, there are nine, four types of pratyayas. You remember? Four types of pratyaya. What are the four types of pratyaya? Viparyaya, Ashakti, Tushti. These are four. Of the four, he says the other three are impediments. Ankushaha, they are the impediments, right? So if you allow the mind to be in a state of what you call any one of the earlier three pratyayas, they are impediments. Ankusha means what is the English word for Ankusha? You know, the elephant, the way they control the elephant is to use a sharp instrument to hit the head of the elephant. Elephant, you know. Huh? Right. But anyway, he says what prevents you from making any progress are the three earlier pratyayas. The three groups of pratyayas are the impediments, and these are the helpful ones. So this is, some people say it is not necessary. I think it is a good, good way to make use of this. Uhaha shabdaha adhyayanam trayaha dukkha vighataha suhrud praptihi danam ashtau siddhayo siddhehe purvaha trividaha ankushaha. Right. So this is the shloka on the siddhis. Uhaha shabdaha adhyayanam dukkha vighataha trayaha suhrut praptihi danam cha siddhayoshtau siddhehe purvonkushaha trividhaha uha shabdodhyayanam dukkha vighatastrayas suhrut praptihi danam cha siddhayoštau siddhe purvonkushas trividhaha. So with this, the pratyaya sarga, or the treatment of the subject pratyaya, is complete. Na vina bhavair lingam na lingena bhavanirvrittihi lingakyo bhavakyaha tasmat dvividaha pravartate sargaha. Right. So there are two things that are necessary for the transmigration. Right? Bhavaihi vina, without the dispositions or karmashayas. Karmashaya. What is the karmashaya? Karmashaya are the activities that have not, the karma that has not fructified. Every karma has to give its results. I do a lot of karmas and then I die before the karmas are fructified. They are carried forward. You know, they are not. So this is the karma theory. Okay. Bhavaihi, without the karmashayas, disposition, vina lingam, na vina lingam, the subtle element, the subtle, the subtle body will not be able to function, right? No, it becomes stale. There is no impulsion. The avidya and the karmashayas put together, they push you forward for other activities. Other janma. Bhavaihi vina lingam na linge na vina bhavanirvrittihi. Na linge na vina, not linge na vina, without the subtle body, bhavanivrittihi, the elaboration of bhavanivrittihi, the the effect of the bhava, effect of the karma cannot take place. Right? Tasmat therefore, lingakyaha, elemental, bhavakyaha cha are of disposition dvividham in two sargaha, streams, pravartate, proceed. Right? Creation of the subtle body, creation of the physical body, isn't it? The physical body is created because of the bhavas. The subtle body is created, the subtle body is created at the beginning itself. Both of them are required. You need a subtle body to hold the bhava. Okay, what do the bhavas do? Bhavas or your karmas do? They create a physical body, isn't it? So, is it clear? Yes, sir. Yes.
Sushma Sharira, aware of karma.
Pardon?
The Sushma Sharira,
Yeah.
aware of karma.
There is no awareness. The awareness, the term awareness we use only with respect to Purusha. See, a lot of things take place without being aware. See, the entire nature functions in a particular way without awareness. The word awareness that you use with respect to the Purusha, where you are aware, I mean the kind of awareness that we have. Lots of things, nature takes place without being aware of anything. That's what he is going to explain in the next sloka. There is no awareness. There is no awareness the way you talk about awareness. There is an order. Okay, there is an order. This is how it will do. Like your computer. Is it aware of everything that is going on inside it? No. But that's the only way it will do. It is how it is programmed. Likewise, the entire universe is programmed in a particular way that keeps on working that particular way. You don't have to have awareness. Nature need not have awareness to function in a particular way.
And Purusha follows it.
Purusha merely observes whatever is going on. You see, this is not the way. We should not try to relate our experience to this. Our experience is slightly different. There, factually what happens is, the entire Prakriti functions in a particular way. Okay? Even the questions that you are asking, the way I am trying to answer, it is part of Prakriti only. Purusha has got nothing to do with that. This is how we are programmed. I answer in a way, the way I have understood. You ask the questions in a way that arises in your mind. Okay, this has got nothing to do with awareness. There is an order in which your mind works. There is an order in which my mind works. That's how we function. This is how nature functions. You are asking questions and my answering questions are part of the Prakriti's work. And then awareness here comes to, awareness is, all right, you are aware of whatever is going on in your mind. I am aware of everything that is going on in your mind. That I, which is aware of that is going on in my mind, is the real Purusha. This is the message that they are giving. You don't look happy. This is slightly different from the way we normally think. Slightly different. Everything in our thinking good about ourselves, thinking bad about ourselves, everything is part of Prakriti only. Navina bhavaihi lingam na lingena bhava nirvrittihi lingakyo bhavakhyaha tasmat द्विविधः प्रवर्तते सर्गः न विना भावैर्लिङ्गं न लिङ्गेन भाग निर्वृत्तिः. Nirvrittihi means, vritti means activity. The activity of bhava is possible, is not possible without the linga sharira. Na vina bhavaihi lingam, na lingena bhava nirvrittihi, lingakyo bhavakhyaha tasmad divida pravartate sargaha. Go to the next one. Ashtavikalpo devaihi तैर्यज्ञोनश्च पंचधा भवति मानुषश्च एकविदः समासतो अयं त्रिधा सर्गः. Now he says the way the creatures are created. What are the various, what you call, classes of creatures, It is good to know what kind of choice is there. What can you become? Devaihi sargaha, different groups of beings. Devaihi sargaha. What is Devaihi sargaha? Deva means divine. Okay, Devaihi sargaha. Even divine, there are a number of them. Ashtavikalpaha. They can be divided into 8 groups. Even among devas, there are 8 groups. What are they? There are different schools. One is called Brahma, then Prajapati, Saumya, Aindra, Gandharva, Yaksha, Rakshasa, Pishacha. These are the 8 divine beings. Don't ask me whether Pishachas are divine, but then it is included in the spirit world. Okay, there are 8 of them. Devaihi sargaha ashtavikalpaha. Many books may give the list. Books give the list. Then tairyak yonascha sargaha. Tairyak means animals. Tairyak yonascha sargaha panchada iti. There are 5 groups of animals. 8 divine groups, 5 animal groups. What are they? I don't know. I have a list here. In the olden days, they divided by deer, bird, reptiles, immovable substances like trees. Okay, these are the various Sthavara and Jangama. Sthavara are the, what are they? Deer, I don't know. Deer refers to deer, cow, all of them will come under a group. Then there are birds. Birds are different from, four-legged animals. Reptiles are different, isn't it? Reptiles are different. Then the immovable substance. Animals, deer, bird, reptiles and immovable substances like trees and plants. All of them will be another group. There are 5 groups of, right. Then the next one, Manushaha Sargascha Ekavidaha. Manushaha Sarga, the human race is only one. There is only one. Manusha Sargaha Ekascha Bhavati. Ayam Samasataha Bhautikaha Sargaha. Bhautika means beings. Bhautika here refers to beings. So earlier he talked about, in this he talked about Deva Sarga, Manushya Sarga, and then Tairyak Yonischa Sarga, and then Bhautika Sarga. These are the creatures. These are the 3 groups of creatures. Any questions you have? This is just information. Huh? Yes.
We tried to do a little bit of comparison here between the Yoga Sutras and Sāṁkhya. Yoga Sutras, just being selfish as a Hatha yogi, what I have to focus is deepening the samaskaras of Ashtanga Yoga.
Right.
Because that is going to take me towards the goal of knowing the truth.
Right.
Slowly. But in Sāṁkhya, they are putting so much emphasis on the discriminative knowledge.
Yes.
Just getting convinced.
Right.
That okay, this is it. So what I'm trying to do here? I'm just getting the knowledge. So I'm just deepening the samaskara. So every day I wake up and I remember what Sāṁkhya told. Oh, this is. I mean, how?
Yeah, if you find this is not sufficient, then you have to take the help of yoga and proceed. Even yoga doesn't merely say that you practice Ashtanga Yoga. They give you the necessary theoretical background. Even in the beginning, they talk about the whole thing. So the enough information is given. In addition to giving the information, they are also talking about the means of achieving this. They give you a little more help for that. So the thing that you got to understand is, in fact, this question is addressed by the Vedantin. They say, what they say is, if your, the desire for moksha is intense, this is called mumukshatva, if it is intense, then all the time you will be thinking only about it. Nothing else will be in your mind. And that is sufficient for you to take to the goal. Thinking means not merely, okay, how I wish I become a yogi. No, that's not it. You think about the, what you call, the principles, and then you start looking at the nature of the self. Once you start doing it, you see, if you are able to, that is why they are called born yogis. Okay, they are born yogis. You don't have to do Ashtanga yoga. Everybody need not do Ashtanga yoga. Some people are able to get into samadhi. And according to the Vedanta, they say, if your understanding of this is what you call is firm, then your mind will not will not be distracted by anything else. Okay, so we have to find out if you think that if your understanding is strong enough, then you can straight away go ahead and proceed. But on the other hand, already it is still weak in the sense that you are convinced about it. Only thing is you are not able to completely be with that. Then the other procedures in yoga may be helpful. A little bit of yama niyama, a little bit of asana pranayama, all of them will be. So in course of time between the two, in fact in the Vedanta they say, nothing wrong with it making use of yoga, but for some people it is not necessary. That's what they say. So don't tell a Vedanta that no, you must sit down and meditate and do samadhi. It is not necessary according to them. So here the emphasis is more on understanding. There again in yoga also the emphasis is on understanding, but at the same time they find there are adhikari vedas. Not everyone can do that. The samadhi yogi in the first chapter, he can go into samadhi, he has to be told what is to be done, what is to be contemplated upon. That's what you see in the first chapter. But then that is why in the second chapter starts, okay, we don't have the capacity to go into samadhi, what should we do? Then you start with the Kriya Yoga, then go to Ashtanga Yoga and all that. So it's a very, they have taken trouble to find, make it possible for everybody. So whether you are an entry level person, supposing you are 60 years, you want to start, all these things will be difficult. So what will they do? They will start with Kriya Yoga and then slowly develop the kleshas, as he has seen here. The dukkha nivritti, the reduction of the dukkha, he says, is one of the, so that is what you get in the Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga, what is the Kriya Yoga? Kriya, Svadhyaya Ishwar, Samadhi Bhavanartha, Klesha Tanu Karanarthasya. Even before we go to Samadhi Bhava, then more important, Kleshas are reduced. Kleshas are dukkha. You are able to reduce the dukkha. So you got to take a very, very, a comprehensive view, and then you got to find out which are the things that are helpful for you. The only thing you got to understand is you can't tell that everybody should sit down and do asana pranayama to be able to achieve that. That doesn't mean that if you tell many people that you don't have to do asana pranayama to achieve the goal, then the thing is they won't do it. So the way to go about it is, all these things are available. Try to find out what is the most appropriate course for you. Right. Ashtavikalpo devaihi Tairyagyonasya Panchadha bhavati. Manushascha Ekavidhaha Samasatoyam Tridha sargaha. Ashtavikalpo devaihi tairyagyonascha panchadha bhavati. Manushaschaikavidaha samasatoyam tridha sargaha. Urdhvam sattva vishalaha tamo vishalascha mulataha sargaha. Madhye rajo vishalaha brahmadistamba paryantaha. Now he talks about the range, heaven, earth and all that. I think with this we will stop for the day. Urdhvam means upward. Urdhvam means upward. Sattva Vishalaha. The universe, Sattva dominates the upper regions. Sattva dominates the upper region. And that is why they say the heaven and all that is above us, in the upper region. Sattva Vishalaha. Sargaha Moolascha Tamo Vishalaha. Moolascha. Moola means what you call the root or below. Moolascha Tamo Vishalaha. Tamas is dominant. Tamas dominates the Moola. Rajo Madhye Rajo Vishalaha. Madhye in the mid region, Rajo Vishalaha. In the middle, Rajo Vishalaha. Rajas dominates. Brahmadistamba Paryantam. Brahmadistamba Paryantam means Brahma here refers to Chaturmukha Brahma. That is the topmost heaven. And then Stamba Paryantaha. Stamba refers to grass. Stamba Paryantaha. So this rule applies to all of them. So tamas is what you call the grass, the lump of grass is supposed to be tamasic, whereas Brahma is supposed to be a sattvic entity. Okay. Any questions on this? Brahmadi Stamba Paryantam. Stamba is, right. Yeah, Stamba is a bunch of grass. Or grass, blade of grass or whatever. Urdhvam Sattva Vishalaha. Tamo Vishalascha. Mūlatas Sargaha. Madhye Rajo Vishalaha. Brahmadistamba Paryantaha. Urdhvam Sattva Vishalaha. Tamo Vishalascha Mūlatas Sargaha. Madhye Rajo Vishalo. Brahmadistamba Paryantaha. Tatra Jara Marana Kritam. In this, he says, all the beings, in all the 40, in all the three ranges, all of them suffer from the fear of death. That's what he says. Tatra Jara Marana Kritam Dukkam Prapnoti Chetana Purushaha Lingasya Vinivrittehe Tasmat Dukkam Swabhavena. So this sloka is, it says that the Purusha suffers. It is just a statement. It doesn't mean that Purusha suffers. Here the Purusha refers to, it does not refer to the Purusha mentioned earlier. It refers to Purusha. Sometimes what they do is, in most of this, the Atman is used to indicate the pure Atman. Sometimes it is used to indicate the individual. So Purusha sometimes, so here in this context, the Purusha refers to the whomsoever we call ourselves. Purusha is the individual entity here, right? So don't get disturbed by this. Tatra Jara Marana Kritam. Let me read the meaning of this. 55. Tatra means in this creation that he explained the previous shloka. Chetanaha means consciousness. This is another term for Purusha. Chetanaha. But then in this case, Chetanaha, you should try to take it that it refers to the individual. Chetanaha Purushaha, the individual soul. Lingasya of the subtle body. Avinivrittehe, until the Kaivalya is who attains the Kaivalya, the Linga Sharira attains Kaivalya. Jara Marana Kritam Dukkham. And until the Kaivalya is reached, the Linga Sharira, Jara Marana Kritam Dukkham. What is meant by Jara Marana Kritam? Jara means old age. Jara, Marana is death. Jara Marana Kritam dukkam. The dukkha or pain created by old age and death. Pain due to old age and death, prapnoti. He achieves this. Everyone due to old age, you become old, die, and that process, old age and death. See, we don't experience so much of pain when you are young. The old man is definitely more unhappy than a young man, right? So, apnoti tasmat dukkam swabhavena. That's he says. Tasmat, therefore, dukkha is inherent in this transmigration. You live, you at least towards the however rich, however great you may be, you become old and ultimately you die. So all the riches or the greatness or your knowledge, none of them is going to help you to overcome that particular dukkha. So the only way to overcome this dukkha is to be not born again. Jara marana dukkam. So swabhavena, it is, life is full of dukkha. The same idea is taken by Patanjali when it says, Parinamata samskara dukkha gunavritti virodhacha dukkhameva sarvam vivekinaha. Right? See, it is not, even if you have a very blessed, life, ultimately dukkha catches up. Everybody has to go through this process. So instead of going through this process on a janma after janma, why don't you spend the time to do uha and adhyayana and the rest of the things? Because if you don't do this thing, when you get older, anyway, this dukkha is going to come to us. Why don't you start doing something else? If you don't do anything, again you got to go through this. Still, I don't have the knowledge. Maybe another 50, 60 births before I can become a human being, and 60 more, 60 more old age and 60 more old death. Why suffer 60 more times before you get another opportunity? Now, I'm not selling anything. I'm just saying this is the... Right. Okay. This is sloka number 55. Yes, some amount of time or effort put in these directions is good. Okay, that's what you must keep in mind. Tatra jara marana kritam dukkham prapnoti Chetanaha Purushaha. Lingasya Avini Vrittehe Tasmat Dukkham Swabhavena. Used a very strong statement here. Swabhavena. You can't avoid that. It's what happens. It's what happens to naturally. Tatra jara marana kritam dukkam prapnoti chetana purushaha lingasya vinivrittehe tasmat dukkham swabhavena. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, please.
Sir, can you just clarify the Sukshma Sharira and Deva Sharira, that it means Tanmatras transmitted?
Yes, that is what. No. The Sukshma Sharira is made up of the original. Okay, originally when the evolution started, the individual evolution starts with the Purusha getting close to Prakriti, and then you get this template given to you. Okay, that 13, but then the activities start. Over a period of time, the activities start, you accumulate karmashayas. Okay, that is, you take a physical body and then do that. Now, according to these philosophers, that is, for the karmashayas to be carried, there should be a base, like a support, like a ashraya. And they say the ashraya is the five tanmatras. That's just a statement. ॐ नमः प्राच्यै दिशेयाश्च देवताये तस्यां प्रतिवसन्त्येताभ्यश्च नमो नमो दक्षिणायै दिशेयाश्च देवताये तस्यां प्रतिवसन्त्येताभ्यश्च नमो नमः प्रतीच्यै दिशेयाश्च देवताये तस्यां प्रतिवसन्त्येताभ्यश्च नमो नमो नम उदीच्यै दिशेयाश्च देवताये तस्यां प्रतिवसन्त्येताभ्यश्च नमो नम ऊर्ध्वायै दिशेयाश्च देवताये तस्यां प्रतिवसन्त्येताभ्यश्च नमो नमो अधरायै दिशेयाश्च देवताये तस्यां प्रतिवसन्त्येताभ्यश्च नमो नमो वान्तरायै दिशेयाश्च देवताये तस्यां प्रतिवसन्त्येताभ्यश्च नमो नमो गङ्गायमुनयोर्मध्ये ये वसन्ति ते मे प्रसन्नात्मानश्चिरञ्जीवितं वर्धयन्ति नमो गङ्गायमुनयोर्मुनिभ्यश्च नमो नमो गङ्गायमुनयोर्मुनिभ्यश्च नमः ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः तच्छंयोरावृणीमहे गातुं यज्ञाय गातुं यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वं जिगातु भेषजं शन्नो अस्तु द्विपदे शञ्चतुष्पदे ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः शन्नो मित्रशं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि मेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु भक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं च यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं संयतां देवनारायण नमोऽस्तु विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पदपादाक्षराणि च न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व पुरुषोत्तम क्षमस्व पुरुषोत्तम क्षमस्व पुरुषोत्तम ॐ Thank you.